Hi there. Vesper, honey, you're not going out. It's one of the cats. She has this idea that she goes out at night. She tries to do this every night, but we don't never let her out at night. But it's interesting that she thinks it's part of her routine. What part of your routine are you like thinking is part of your routine but isn't? Huh, that came up yesterday, right? That came up as part of our reading yesterday. Especially with these two guys. Boy, I got a universal whacking about that today. I'm not going to go into it, but yeah, healthcare routine drastically changed for me today. Anyway, mm. Waterloo. They don't need any advertising, but this peach one is pretty good. Anyway, we're going to do the reading today. Little commentary. I find myself doing a little commentary on this stuff. I'm going to actually put the camera down so you can see the cards that came up yesterday. We had the Queen of Pentacles, the Seven of Swords, and the Seven of Cups come up. One of the things I noticed that we had two different sevens. It's two different. A couple of things I want to say is there's two different ways to work the sevens, and there are more chakras in the body than what the traditional seven that is commonly taught to most of us. But I noticed that again, so I want to speak to the chakras because I was number one I talked a lot about the root and the sacral chakras. And then of course this purple came up, which is the color of the third eye, the Ajna chakra. And that's the place between your brows and the seat of our intuition. Whereas the root chakra is the place where we, kind of learn to gather things. And we talked about how comfortable and capable the Queen of Pentacles is, being a court card. She's even more capable than that Nine of Pentacles that showed up a couple of days ago. And she's certainly way more capable than the kind of creature I'm feeling compelled to call her a creature from the Four of Pentacles that also showed up a couple of days back. She's so centered that she's not in the tree. She's not trying to negotiate the tree and the pentacles. She, in fact, doesn't even have any pentacles around her. She has crystals, giant ones growing up around her. The only pentacle of sorts is this one that's in her scepter, and she's, obviously got control over that. So, even and like the Nine of Pentacles woman, she's very, very comfortable in her environment, so comfortable that she's not even standing up. The Nine of Pentacles woman was standing up. She's not. She's, the Nine of Pentacles still had more to go to achieve the things that she's trying to achieve, be they spiritual, be they physical, be they in health or environment or things like that. The Queen of Pentacles is sitting down and she's just waiting for everything to come to her. So what I was drawn to was the rainbow colors that are in, I don't really know. By the way, this was from the reading of May 31st. This was yesterday's reading. We're going to be doing the reading for June 1st. I don't know what exactly it is that's in here, whether it was a snake. I was thinking it was a snake that was in her garment there. But it was the colors of the rainbow. So what I was thinking and what I was drawn to in terms of this serpentine kind of creature was the fact that in Kundalini, no matter whether it's Kundalini yoga per se, trademarked, that's even a name. The Kundalini energy is depicted as a snake, and it is one that rises from the root chakra at the tailbone area. At the perineum, if you will, which is slightly below the genitals. And then that's the root chakra. And then it goes up to the sacral chakra. And then it goes up to the willpower chakra, your solar plexus. Then you go up to the heart chakra. Then you go to the throat. Then you go to that third eye, which I discussed a moment ago. And then you go to the crown, which is slightly actually above the crown of the head, the former fontanelles in those of us who have grown to be adults. That's, that area at the top of the skull. So those are the 7 chakras that we basically are introduced to for many of us who have been exposed to Eastern thought. This woman is in complete the depiction of that serpentine thing, a snake like thing, is very much indicative of her having all of her faculties and all of her she's utilizing all of her chakras, all of those centers of the body, which have different attributes and different strengths, in order to have she's on top of her game, essentially. And she's utilizing and working with all of those chakras. Now, of course, the sevens came up in these two other cards, right? The Seven of Swords and then the Seven of Cups. Very different energies, though, right? Different usages of that seven, where this gentleman is certainly not utilizing his chakras really well. He is very fear-based. He's very crouched. He's very down low, which is in the root chakra. That's a place where we can often feel fear. We can feel clenching around, the anus, around the genitals, around the low belly. You feel that clutch in the belly when you're in a fearful situation, or you're working with a lot of anxiety. And he's got all of that going on, right? And these are thought driven. Oftentimes and those feelings can drive our thoughts, opposition, as it can go either way. Either, some thought comes across your mind and all of a sudden now you're like triggering a bunch of fearful emotions. Or, something triggers like a fearful emotion and all of a sudden now your thoughts go spinning. Whereas the Seven of Cups girl, she's taken her seven and she's also got a rainbow. She's got all of those chakras have different colors of the rainbow. The root chakra is red, the sacral chakra is orange, the solar plexus chocolate. The solar plexus chakra is yellow. The heart chakra is green, sometimes also pink. The throat chakra is blue. The third eye chakra is also a bluish color, but more purpley, more like that deep kind of like indigo, really deep, deep purple. And then the crown chakra is often like a very white, a very light violet, or sometimes even aquamarine is attributed to that as well. And so, she's got that rainbow also. Again, she's got mastery of it. In fact, she's taking that rainbow and she's using it to, not to master her emotions, to be in mastery of her emotions, to pick and choose whatever it is that she wants. And, she's even got people coming in to help her, very much like this, so like she doesn't need to go out and get anything that she wants. This gal is going out and deciding to go and get what she wants, but she's taking it for a ride. Like she's like having fun with it, right? And it's of her choosing. It's anything is of her choosing. She's even got a dragonfly coming up here to help her select some cups, and she's got this fairy here that's saying, "Hey, look at me. This is when you can pick and take along." So essentially, whatever path you choose, you are. These two figures are very much have the same. Very very self-possessed, both of them, and basically enjoying life and relaxed, very at ease, and just in full enjoyment, as opposed to the use of this kind of seven. This seven isn't. This is a choice of being in fear, being petty, being small. Yeah, just not being in the biggest self and only seeing one perspective. So not using any chakras, just using maybe the head, and the head could be very clouded. So that's the energy that's around, right? Like, we have these moments. So how can we see that this moment is happening and turn it into a different kind of seven, and and really gaining mastery over what we're doing and being, no matter whether you're male or female, it doesn't really matter. You're utilizing everything, and that's when you start to elicit better care for yourself in the moment, and you're utilizing your intuition to make the kind of healthcare changes that excuse me. Oh my goodness, to utilize the kind of changes that changes our health. Maybe, no matter whether it's in the physical sense, in the mental sense, or in the emotional sense, you're changing your perspective and you're changing your world all the way around. And yeah, and then you're not kind of just, you're energetically drained, because this is draining. this is, you know, energizing and you know, changing up your vitality. What makes you feel vital? So anyway, those were the ones from yesterday. I just wanted to give it a little extra commentary on that. That was for the reading for May 31st, and just some further thoughts I had after I finished the reading. So yeah, so now let's go back to let's work on the reading for June. I'm still working with the crystal visions. Excuse me. And actually, I'm going to grab a pillow because I hurt my back pretty badly today. And I'm just going to, and no matter what position I sit in, it's pretty bad. Healthcare changes. But this pillow will support my leg as I'm sitting here. Whew. Takes your breath away when you do that. I don't know if you've ever hurt your back. I haven't done it this badly in a number of years, but it's going to slow me down. Oh, hi. There's Jasper. So we'll shuffle the deck, and I ask my spirits, my guides, to come in and help me work with the cards, work with the art, for the kind of messages that we want to work with for June. I do feel, I alluded to the messages from yesterday being one that would probably be prevalent for the month. It's not technically the month, you know, being, it was the reading for May 31st, but we are starting a brand new week no matter which way you cut it, and I do feel that those energies will be very, very an overriding theme for the month of June. All right, so let's take, oh, we already have a card flipping. The King of Swords. We still have some swords coming up. Ooh, that light. I have to do a little something with this light. King of Swords. Ah, there, actually, you guys can see him now. King of Swords. Now, this is a gentleman who is in control of his thoughts. Very different energy from that Seven of Swords guide. King of Swords is a very good father, very good leadership, able to use his logic and his decision-making to support his family, anything that's dear to him, good businessman, very just, very truthful individual. Takes those those truth bombs and delivers them with ease rather than, you know, with more grace than perhaps the page. Not as sharp, but truthful and to the point nonetheless. That sword can cut both ways, so sometimes you don't like the truth, but the King of Swords is here to help you see the logic behind the thoughts and help maybe clear up your thoughts. So doing a little clearing of that stuff that was maybe cloudy and distorting the situation. And as opposed to being draining on the situation, the King of Swords is an individual who, oh, we've got another one here, who actually comes in and will help clear up the issue. We've got the Star. This one actually came flipped out, but came up in reverse. I don't put my cards in reverse. I actually actively make sure that they're all in order. If they come out in the reverse, I will read them in the reverse. So the Star's in reverse. We've got the King of Swords here. What are the other messages that we have here? The beautiful Star card. Star is a card of another major arcana card. We have a court card and a major arcana. Major arcana are always ones that are more, as opposed to the daily, they're an overriding energy. And we got two that came out here, came in the upright. We've got the Emperor, another, and the Five of Wands at the bottom of the deck. So a little card of playful conflict. Oh, and the Two of Cups as well coming in. All right, so we've got some interesting energies coming out. The Emperor came out, and the Nine of Cups were the final two cards that came out. All right, so let's angle the camera down, so we can talk about the cards as they came out. I'm going to turn them around so you can see them. And again, the Star came up in reverse, so we'll just put her in her position there. So again, the King of Swords is a gentleman who is very to the point, very decisive individual, very strong, a very in strong leadership and good command of his thought process. Very unlike that Seven of Swords guy yesterday. Clearly not comfortable in his own skin, but our King of Swords is certainly comfortable. He's sitting there. He's on top of the mountain. The King of Swords for me generally does represent, a colder kind of person. So, maybe, not someone, definitely not an emotional individual. You know, tends to be, have a cold, a very isolated kind of feel, especially with those crows. But the King of Swords is here to really, he's the top of he's the top, whether you're male or female, this energy exists in all of us. Um, but he has wings. These are messages from heaven. These are thoughts from heaven that he's bringing, and I'm just noticing that he has wings. But he's also accompanied by crows, and they are messengers as well. And with their like caw caw caw, it's something that you need to pay attention to. But now we're at the King of Swords as opposed to the Page, and opposed to that Seven of Swords. These messages are something to pay attention to. But to know, if you see the light shining on him, they are divine messages, and they are ones that we do need to pay attention to, and that we can turn around and utilize with mastery. This is a person of mastery, very, very similar. And the Emperor here is kind of his counterpart. This Emperor here is the counterpart of that, where he's actually, and the Emperor also he's higher than a king, right? He's ruling over a far larger group of community than the king. The king has a smaller domain, whereas the Emperor is over countries. It's over, it represents the pinnacle of mastery. The King of Swords is, has, I see him being, see his crown, and his crown is shining with divine light, though. He has a very light being compared to some of the King of Swords that I've seen. Some of them are even depicted as a very almost, I don't know, too heavy with thought. But this one seems, as his thoughts are divinely inspired, and he's here ready to share them with us if we will listen. And the crows that are accompanying him are asking us to really listen to how to make our thoughts more positive, and let them show our way to our passions. This gentleman here is taking that mastery, that command, that sovereignty of thought to an even higher level. This one has, I don't know what kind of bird he's got with him, but this one looks like a hawk or an eagle. And he's got mastery, and then he has an ankh with him, which is the symbol of eternal life. These kinds of thoughts go way beyond our, sort of mundane situation. So if we're keeping our thoughts very positive, and we're switching our thoughts to more divinely inspired, and switching our thoughts that come from our divine inner wisdom, our divinity, that we are all divine people, period. Okay, every single one of us is a piece of God right here on earth, and you can define that God as however you want. Some traditions call it higher power. You may have goddesses, whatever that is. Acknowledging your divinity and the fact that you are a piece of divinity right here on earth is, having a unique experience in order to share with the collective. This is that divinity. This is that thought, that divinity. And once you're switching your thoughts to these more powerful, positive, looking at things from a positive perspective, surveying your domain and everything in your life with the eye of positivity, and looking at other people and seeing them as equally divine, seeing that divinity in each and every one of us, this is where you start to step up into the mastery of the Emperor. And you start to affect the future. See, this eagle is bringing in his crystal ball. Say, hey, look, I've been looking in the crystal ball. Let's take a look. And, he's even got his hand over this circle at the center. He's got it. It almost looks like he's levitating, something over his waist. He's drawing his own power, and he's emanating that. He's standing in a very peaceful stance. The Emperor is also a symbol of the Aries energy, which is the I am energy, that I have manifested myself here on this earth. This is how I've come into being, and I do have mastery over my life. And I not only have mastery over my life, I have mastery. I can, there's our nine of cups girl. She's wishing on a star. She's wishing, she's blowing her wishes into into infinity. And it's almost, I'm kind of drawn to, here, give me a second, let me open this. There we go. I see that, I almost see Vesper, honey. Come here, sweetheart. There you go, my love. Even lifting her is a chore. I see the moon here. It kind of reminds me of this crystal ball. She's sending her wishes and her thoughts up into this moon as she's blowing on that dandelion. So say your prayers, and know that, your self-mastery, but these are sparkly, sparkly wishes. And they're positive. What she's doing is positive. The lotuses are still here. And that was the other thing I wanted to talk about from the chakras. Sorry, I keep getting this catch in my throat. When the chakras the reason the lotus is the symbol of that topmost chakra, the one at the crown of the head, is because its roots are down in the muck. So in the rootedness, in the pettiness, in the place of in our body, in the place of defecation, is that root chakra area. And that's the place where in the pond the lotus is rooted. But it grows up through those chakras, like that queen, up through utilizing that rainbow until it comes, to that beautiful lotus at the crown and floating on the surface. Those lotuses are present here as well. And, whether she's blowing on a dandelion or actually, maybe she's chosen a lotus and has kind of transformed it into something into which she can breathe onto, that I am presence. Again, my breath is what I'm sending out into the world. What are you sending out into the world? Now, I've kind of ignored the fact that we have this star card and it's in the reverse, because I just see so much hope and so much mastery here in the other two cards, that the star card being in the reverse would represent something akin to, that's pretty, something akin to, not being necessarily in command of those wishes. The star card is something that, wish upon a star. Are you a star? Being having one foot on the ground, but you're dipping one toe in the water. So we might be a little bit, there might be again that energy of not really believing that we have this kind of, the energy of mastery and choice that came up in yesterday's reading. And again, the energy that we really are in this place of being able to make our wishes come true, that we are in control, that we actually are, master of our domain. Maybe we don't believe in that. Maybe there's this sense of disbelief and not feeling like we're going to be heard. Now, when the star is upright, she's gently pouring water not only onto the land, she's nourishing the land, but she's pouring back into the sea. So she's giving back as much as she's utilizing the water to to sustain what she's standing on, sustain the land. Being both in both both the land as well, being part of both the land as well as the water, being part of the material as much as the emotion and the ethereal and the intangible, and then the less than concrete. So we might feel a little bit off balance because in this respect, maybe the water is coming back into her. So we might need to take some time to be quiet with ourselves, to, before you get into, your day and stuff like that, take time to do the kinds of practices that help you recognize that you are the star, and to turn that star back into the upright, and to recognize that you are the star, that you do have, that you are, she's extremely self-possessed. She's dancing through the night. She is, able to be part of both the land that come into the physical world as much as like go back into the sea. She can exist in both places, both in the spiritual realm as well as in the physical realm, and operate with balance and grace between both worlds, and go back and forth with ease, very adaptable. Um, you know, so let's turn that star a card around, and if you have those struggles, just take those moments, take that time to gather all of your faculties, because you are very capable of being in complete control of your thoughts, to the point where you've gone from being a king, you've got all the way to being an emperor. And the time that you spend quietly in the moment, like she's doing, to make those wishes, to be in the moment, to appreciate your surroundings, appreciate the abundance of the 9 cups that you have around, that you have more than enough always. Again, this theme continues to come forth, so much so that although he's finely dressed, even though he's in kind of in a very austere surroundings, he has everything he needs. He's very, very in control. And the more we continue to recognize that, and to be in the moment, and to see our riches around us, to really see that we can go back and forth between two lands, to employ our spiritual selves in the physical, the more we try to keep achieving that in each and every tiny moment, the more we're going to feel like these guys, and that everything that we want is coming true constantly in the moment, not even in a faraway land. It's coming true in the moment. And again, this is coming from tapping into our own divine wisdom, and and what was I going to say? There was a thought that eluded me, but just taking that pause, taking those moments when you feel out of control, just pause and take the moment. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. I thank you all for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. And if you want to know your own personal reading, my email address is lisa.loring@gmail.com. That's lisa.loring@gmail.com. And I thank you all for those of you who are reaching out to me. I know I'm glad I'm back and doing these readings as well. And I enjoy them. It's fun for me, and it's a great meditation for me. And that's what the cards are. They're a meditation. A lot, like I said, they're not witchcraft. It's a meditation on how to work our best, most divine selves in every single moment, and recognizing that we're both human and we're etheric. So thank you all. This again, reading for June 1st, and happy June. Have a good one.